Okay, this is a clip from RJP. RJP Darlie, type that in YouTube. You can go over and see his videos. Uh, Rich is a nice guy. I can't, I, he's got that supporter mentality, but in the long run, he's a nice guy. This is from episode 63, and I want to go over just a small clip on this, and you can see that Danelle is in there, and we can also see that Danelle told hundreds of thousands of people on Ken Main's show what the word superficial means. And I just, I keep going back at it. I keep going over this because she is purposely putting out the wrong definition of this word regarding that case to the public. Uh, at this point is where Mystery Maverick, whom I agree with a lot, she just doesn't like me, and that's okay. But I agree with her a lot on a lot of things. It's just what perspective that you put it in. She's talking about the bruising on her arms, on Darlie's arms. And she's absolutely correct in saying that you can't put a date on when a bruise happened. You can round it off, like a maximum of 9 minutes. You can round it off. And these doctors did not put a date on it. They just said they didn't see them. And Santos's opinion, which is what they give here on this channel a lot, their opinion, but except for he was there with her, and Danelle was there. In his opinion, those bruises did not come from any event that occurred on 6/6/96. He didn't say they were this day. He felt like they were 2 to 4 days after she got out of the hospital. That's what he said. So that's what Tara's talking about here. But I want to focus in on what Joni says here and what Danelle does not say.
That are willing to date bruises, even though it's been confirmed that you cannot date bruises.
Bruises
Agreed.
okay.
Well, and also, if you do the math and you look at a lab value from a couple of months before the murders, and you look at the lab draw that was taken after surgery, 3 or 4 hours after surgery, she lost about 35 to 40% of her blood from.
Absolutely not. Now this lady's saying 35 to 40%, right? And I believe she's a nurse. I believe that's Sully's mom. Could be wrong, but I believe that she's a nurse. But she's saying that Darlie lost 35 to 40% of her blood, which is incorrect according to the testimony. But Sully pops in with,
From that supposedly superficial wound.
what'd she say? From that supposedly superficial wound. Now Danelle does not correct her. So this nurse knows what a superficial wound is. It's a minor wound.
And so that wound, when you lose 40% of blood volume, that is not a superficial wound.
That's the second time she uses it as a superficial wound, not meaning direction, but meaning the how severe that the wound was. All right, and then Sully pops in.
I think it was 20%.
I think it was 20%, but we can see Danelle in my videos in the back on my channel claiming on 2020 that Darlie lost 50% of her wounds, of her blood from these wounds. 50%. The testimony, that why the one doctor, Santos said, if it wasn't for the severity of the crime that was committed and the tragedy that she suffered, he would have stitched her up and sent her home. And immediately after coming out of surgery, he noted that the blood had stopped. She didn't have a significant amount of blood loss. That's what the doctor who treated her said. But what Danelle's not doing is correcting either one of them. No, it's 50%. No, that's not what superficial means. She's not doing that. She only does that to her sheeple. She won't do that to people who know.
Sorry.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it was 20%, and typically women give about 8% of blood in a blood drive. So it would have been
Danelle's not correcting them. No, it's 50%, which she already told the public on national TV.
double
that.
2.5 times
Yeah.
that.
And mind you, when they give that blood at a blood drive, they're giving orange juice and or cookies immediately after giving the blood, so they're not woozy.
Right.
Yeah, because it lowers your blood sugar count. Mm-hmm.
So, do I think she was woozy? Yes, I do. I think she
Oh,
was
yeah.
woozy in the ambulance on her way to the hospital.
Well, how would you determine that she was woozy? I mean, I don't know. Darlie herself was able to talk to the nurses about knocking a knife out of somebody's hand. And when Jimmy Patterson came about 6 a.m. to question her, he asked her if she was okay to answer questions. And she said yes, according to Patterson.
I absolutely agree. And Steve made a good comment that I've heard him made before. You can also be hit in the lower jaw. And knocked out without huge bruising. You always see this in boxing, like an uppercut.
In boxing, they wear 14 or 16-ounce gloves. The gloves are there to prevent bruising. I mean, come on. Steve is a sheeple.
You know.
Well, Darlie did have scratches on her chin and on the side of her face.
Yeah.
But let me also say that.
So how's he uppercutting her, choking her with the rag, stabbing her, and beating her arms half to death all at the same time, and trying to essay her? How's he doing all that at the same time? What was it? You know what? I know what it was. I know. I think I've solved the fucking case. I think I've just solved the case. A fucking octopus came in there and did that. It was an octopus that came from Lake Jackson and slithered its way down Darlock Road across them fields and slithered its way into that window and took all those arms and jumped on Darlie. That's it. That's it. Everybody pack it up. Everybody pack it up. It's a done deal. It was a fucking octopus that did it. Darlie's innocent.